In this video, I'm about to show you step by step on how I made this exact bubu. I made it with a damask fabric and with a combination of Asoke. You must have seen similar videos on how to make a bubu caftan, but trust me, this is very simple method and beginners friendly. Hello beautiful people, it's your girl Adorable Secrets. You are welcome back to my fashion channel. If you're just joining in, thank you so much for joining. Please click on the subscribe button. If you are a returning subscriber, I want to say a very big thank you to you guys. Thank you so much. This is the fabric I'll be working with. Like I said earlier, it's a damask fabric. Now you can use any fabric of your choice, not particularly this very one. So if you have an Ankara material, you can go ahead and make use of it. And this is also the Asoke I'm going to be combining with this. So this is the closest color to the colors I have on the damask, like as you can see. So I'm going to be merging it with this very Asoke. So going by my measurements here, I have 3 yards of fabric here. This is 1 yard, and this is 2 yards here, and then this is 3 yards of the fabric. Okay, and this is by 60 altogether. So first of all, you want to fold this into two first, and then you fold it again into four. All right, just watch the way I am doing this. Fold it into two and into four again. So I'm doing that all over again just so you would understand how I am folding. So now this is into four, and then you want to make sure that this part that is folded into to an opening is the part that you're going to be using as your shoulder. Is going to be at the top. All right, so this is what we have. So I'll take it to the table now so that we can continue the process. Now this is it laid on the table. You can see the edges I have facing up. So this part that is separated has to be your shoulder line. Now I'll just go ahead and measure the length of what I am making use of. You want to measure the length of your clients, the bubu length. So if your fabric is not as long as the length that you're using, then you know you have to add something to it. Now the next thing I'm taking is the hip line. I just measured 27 for the hip line. For the neckline, I'm taking 3 inches wide by 1 inch depth for the back neckline, and I'll just connect that together. Divide your shoulder into two, and I'm taking 7.5. From that shoulder measurement, the remaining part of this is going to be my sleeve measurement. Remember, this is a puff sleeve, so you want it to be really long, depending on what your client wants anyway. As for the round sleeve, I'll be doubling my sleeve round by 2. Initially it's 8, so I'll just take 16. So I marked 16, and the point where I marked 16, I came in by 4 inches. So from that 4 inches, I'll be taking the hip measurements all the way to the down part. So you want to use your hip measurement because it's the larger parts of the body measurements. So you connect that into a straight line from your armhole all the way to the length of this bubu. So just go ahead and cut out the back neckline. Remember, this is just the back neckline. Now for clearer understanding on this part, you want to divide your hips measurements by 4. Divide your hip measurement by 4. Add about 5 to 6 inches allowance because you want this bubu to be really flexible and free. So that is the measurement you're going to use to connect from your armhole all the way to the length of this bubu. Now you're using your hip measurements for every other part, not the bust measurements. Now I hope you understand that. So you want to open this up like this. Just open it the way I just opened it up, and then on one part you're going to be taking your front neckline. So I am using 8 inches length, and then I am coming in by 2 inches. So you're going to be taking that 2 inches, mark it all the way to the down parts of this bubu. So I'm going ahead to mark my 2 inches on the middle front. So connect these measurements into a straight line, and also to meet with your neckline on the shoulder. So you have to blend it to meet with the 2 inches that you took from the middle. This measurement we are taking out is actually the position of the Asoke. Remember the style we are making. So this is where your Asoke is going to replace what we are removing right now. So here is what we have. So this we are going to be replacing with your other material. So I want to notch the middle of the back, and then you also want to notch the position where your shoulder line is. Now starting from your back neckline, use your tape to measure what you have from the back neckline all the way to the length of this gown. So just watch the way I am using my tape to go around and ending it at the end of this dress. Whatever you have, you want to multiply that by 2, because this fabric, remember, is front and back. So whatever you have, you're going to use it to measure on your Asoke or whatever you're using as your middle piece. Add some extra allowances to it and just cut that out. So I'm going ahead to measure what I removed from the main fabric. What I have is 4 inches. Remember, we measured 2 inches out, so when you open it is 4 inches. But what I have on my Asoke is actually 5 inches, and trust me, I don't want to cut this Asoke. So what I did was to remove extra half inch from this my main fabric. I had to remove extra half inch so that it can merge up with what I have on the Asoke when it's unfold. So guys, this is what you are going to have. You can see our kaftan is coming out gradually. So this is how it's going to look like. You just want to open this up. Remember the notch we have in the middle. You can actually start piping your combination from the middle back, or you can start from the down. So fold your Asoke into 2, and then you place it on the right side of the fabric. I do hope you understand what I mean. Please ignore the mistake I made here. What I actually mean is you're going to be placing your folded material for the middle. Place it on the right side of your main fabric, and then you want to start sewing all the way all round. So just be placing it neatly, and gradually you can pin it down. You can pin it down if you're not so sure of yourself. So you sew it all the way until you get to the other side of the end. So after doing that, you just flip it like this. You can top stitch if you want to, or you just go ahead and give it a good press. So guys, I added something to the down here because the length of this material was not actually up to the length of my client, so I had to add something to the down. So this is what you have after sewing. I have pinned down the middle part. I had to join the 2 front parts together like this. You can see I neatly pinned it down, okay, with one part slightly on top of the other parts. So if you want to have a slit on the front part like this, so when you are sewing, you just have to measure the inches you want to be open at the front. If you want a slit, if you don't want a slit, just go ahead and stitch that down. So take this to your machine, and then you now stitch it all the way to the end of this dress. So make sure your v-neck is actually visible, so you want to really fold it properly. So if what you measured initially for your front neckline is 8 inches, just make sure that before you close up your middle fronts, you are also folding in a way that what will be left for the v-neck opening is the exact 8 inches that you left. So I do hope you understand that. Now the next thing is to create our pleats on both sides of the shoulder. So first you want to do is to take your measurement, the middle part of your shoulder. Now just watch what I am doing. From the middle, I am taking 7 inches. That is the shoulder divided by 2. And from that 7 inches, I am going out again by 6 inches, all right? Now from that 6 inches, I'm going to get the middle. Middle of 6 is 3 inches. So go ahead and mark 3 inches right there. Now from the middle back, I took 7 inches, and from that 7 inches, I took another 6 inches, and in between 6 inches, I marked 3 inches. So I'll do exactly the same thing on the other side of the shoulder. First of all, mark your 7 inches. Now I'm using 7 inches because my shoulder is 14. So if your shoulder is 12, you know what to do. Divide it into 2. Now in between that 6 inches, I have 3 inches, and that is what I'm going to be pinching like this. Just watch how I am doing this. It's very simple. So that's 6 inches you marked. The middle is 3 inches. So you want to grab the middle, okay, so that your 6 inches marks will be meeting or touching each other like this. So use a pin to secure that, okay, before you now iron it. So by grabbing this together, you are forming a pleat of about 3 inches, okay? Now, if what you left is 8 inches, you know that your pleat is going to be 4 inches. So what I have here, if you measure this right now, you know, you find out that it's 3 inches. So I'm going to repeat the same thing on this other end. All right, just do the same thing you did on the other side. So from that 6 inches, you want to join them together. All right, just grab from the middle and join them together, and then just use your pin to secure the splits, all right, all the way. All right guys, the next thing I want to do now, from that shoulder I am going to be going towards the back by 5 inches, or you can use 4 inches depending on what you want, and then towards the front I'll be also be taking 5 inches. So I'll take it to my machine and sew that on a straight line. On this other end, I'll do the same thing. Go towards your front by 5, go towards the back by 5. So meaning that when you stitch, you're going to be stopping at that 5-inch mark. So here is what we have. You can see I have stitched it and I stopped at 5-inch mark. So if you want to stitch all the way to the end, okay, please just go ahead and do this. It is even going to secure your pleats the more. So I used a hot iron to secure my pleats. So I decided to just stop my stitches there. So for the sleeve part, fold in your sleeve allowance into 2, just like this. That will enable you to pass your elastic all the way. You know, this is a puff sleeve, so you're going to be passing an elastic into the measurements that you folded in. Now, after fixing the elastic, you can see what I have. So you want to drag the elastic to fit into the measurements of the round sleeve that you are working with. Not too loose and not too tight. Now, for the rope that is going to snatch the waist of this bubu, I have about 14 inches length by an inch wide as a belt. So from the shoulder, you want to measure the under bust measurement. From the shoulder, you mark the under bust measurement, and then you divide the circumference by 2. Whatever you have, you're going to mark it there. So you'll be putting your belt one on the right side and the other on the left side. So guys, remember that you're fixing this belt on the wrong side of the front piece. After doing that, just go ahead, use your hip measurements, adding allowance to it depending on how wide you want it to be, and close up your bubu. So guys, this is basically how to cut a bubu caftan. See you in my next video. Bye.